Welcome to day 4 of Anne's Fall Look Week of Webisodes, and I hope you're sitting down because the woman has been crazy busy. There are 22 projects that we're going to share with you. They start with 4 brand new stencils and then go from there.
We also have a new product called Glass Bead Glitter Gel, and I can't wait till you see what Anne has done with it.
Lots of goodies, huh? Come play with us. We're going to begin with these most useful tools, and that's really what we're sharing with you today. These are 6x6 stencils, and we have 4.
We have 4. We have Fancy Frame, Butterfly Focal, Trimetry, those are those beautiful ornaments, and Snowfall.
Okay, so we're going to start with the
fancy frame.
Yes, okay, so step 1. This is one of those pieces that is highly versatile, but you kind of need to think about it a little bit, maybe.
Right. Think about some different ways of using it, and you're going to see lots of ideas.
And there are 2 project ideas there, but we have both, well, we have them to show you and more. So here is our first. Isn't that just gorgeous?
It is beautiful, and this is done with Perfect Pearls. So within a Perfect Pearls pack, there is the Perfect Medium, which is like a Versamark ink, similar like that. And all you have to do, and you can see on one of the Wow Webisodes we did earlier this week, you just use the Perfect Medium to go right through the stencil, and then you just brush on the Perfect Pearls, and it's so shimmery and beautiful.
And it's also kind of magic because it just appears. So if you haven't watched every day, you might want to go back. And I love the mix of gold and silver on this card, along on the black
beautiful
paper.
Yeah, it's done. So the paper was actually from Rhapsody. It's a dark black.
Oh, is it? Okay.
And then this is a cardstock, which is a little bit darker. But I love the gold metallic along the edges as well.
And also, this is a stamp on the inside, so that too has been done with the Perfect Pearls.
Right. So with that particular stencil, what you can see is if you turn it this way, now that's the whole stencil in the background.
Well, it's not using the dots on the side.
Except for the dots.
It's the whole stencil except for the dots?
Except for the dots. And you can see this part here, that's that. But if you turn the stencil sideways, then you've got this centerpiece that was created separately.
And nice to have that overlaying. It just makes it larger.
Right.
And let's see, are there inside? Just a simple little stamping on the inside. So not too much going on there, but beautiful on the front.
Beautiful result with a little 6x6 stencil.
Okay, so 1 is Perfect Pearls. Now, here is 2, and I think this is so striking.
It is. It's just beautiful, and it's silver embossing paste. And so same idea. Here you have more of that stencil because you've got those tiny dots up at the top of it. It's amazing to me, if we look at the dots, how small those little things are, and they make an impact. It's just beautiful.
And as you said, this is embossing paste, so it is raised, and I think that's kind of terrific that it goes, and it's only, of course, the height of between the paper and the top of the stencil, which, let me show you folks, is teeny, teeny, tiny.
And the reason for that is that you're going to just swipe across it with this mini squeegee, and I'm going to show you how
I was going to say, it looks like you're ready to do that.
I have here some of that black paper, which is called, it's a black shine design.
Right, this is black lace, and it's an 8.5 by 11 sheet, and this is a unique paper in that it has the light and the dark areas on it. So it's really kind of a fun look.
And it's a glossy surface, so this is just going to sit on top of it. I've got the stencil. I'm just going to do a part of it here to show you what it looks like. I've got the silver embossing paste, and I've got my mini squeegee.
And you're scooting over.
And so that you can see it. That is my fondest desire, that you see whatever we're doing. So I just get a little bit of that out of there, and I'm just going to scoot it across. Normally I would, well, actually, honestly, I usually just kind of hold it in place. If I'm going to do something really quickly, but you can use stencil tape to tape it down, and it gives you a little more leeway. You don't have to worry about it not working out, and then you scoot it on and you scoot it off, and you do it kind of quickly.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that at least I tended to do the very first time when I was using the embossing paste is to put too much. Because all you need is just a little bit, and you really do want to see the plastic as you scrape that across.
Another point is to don't continuously work and work and work and work, because when you do that, the paper keeps absorbing the liquid and it bubbles up before you get a chance to get that smooth finish.
Ta-da, just like that. Very, very crisp and clean and beautiful.
And after it dries, which takes about a half hour to an hour, then you've got a shinier finish.
Now, you did the shine design back here, but then this is on the suede paper. So even though that has kind of a nap to it, it will take the embossing paste just
without a problem.
Yeah. And we've also have the silver jewel dazzles because they just only add beautifulness to things. So I think it's neat to see that the different colors of black, which is kind of an interesting thing even to be saying.
Just black and silver, a little bit of white. I like doing black and white cards every once in a while because it makes such a nice impact.
Now on the inside...
On the inside, I used Stays-On Silver. I just I masked off the areas of the stencil that I needed and then just sponged through to get the silver ink in place.
So you can see that that's also working, and then just a little bit of the stencil on the... around the...
All you have to do is mask it off. You can use stencil tape, you can use Post-it notes, whatever you like.
Gorgeous, gorgeous. Okay, now for...
jewel dazzles. It's got the silver jewel.
And for another look, this is also using the Perfect Pearls. This time the pastels.
Right, that's one of our new ones. Really beautiful, pale colors, but it's also got a bit of a gold sheen to some of them. And, and so it was used around the edges, and just parts of the stencil were masked off, and those swirls were used over and over.
And that's the birthday cheer stamp set in the center there. Now, you talked about the glass bead glitter gel, and here is our first example. There are going to be several examples, folks. So here it is. You want to show what that's all about?
This is the glitter gel. It's considered an embossing paste, and it has glass beads and glitter within the embossing paste. So it doesn't look like a whole lot.
It doesn't. Are you impressed, folks?
It's textured, but it's really thick, and it's got these glass beads. The thing is, when it dries clear. Even the glass beads dry clear, but it leaves this texture, kind of a bumpy surface. And the glass beads are, since they're iridescent, they pick up colors that are around it.
So this is looking kind of purple, but that's the purple metallic paper behind it. And this has been done on acetate. Maybe that's a way that you can really see the clear quality of it. So you can see how beautiful that is. And it is bumpier than the embossing paste as I rub my finger over it.
I kind of like to show you what that looks like going on too. So I've got the center masked off, and I'm placing it over a piece of acetate that I have here on this black cardstock. And I'm just going to hold it in place, and I would tape it down normally because you're going to be doing this whole area. I just want to give you just a quick example of what it looks like when you use the glass bead. It's not going to be smooth because of those glass beads, so it's going to be bumpy. It's gonna, you can even hear it. You can hear it because those are glass beads. I'm just gonna swipe it across this way.
So you do want it to be as smooth against the plastic as you can.
Right.
It's just not.
So I'm putting it on, and then I'm scraping it off again, just so it will go with your nose. Yeah, it's strange, isn't it? That's all I'm gonna do.
Okay.
And, to show you what it looks like.
Just before you remove it, you can see that you can still see the plastic. So you've scraped it.
You can also see do you see those clear dots?
Yeah.
Those are the beads.
Okay.
The glass beads. You lift it up.
Voila.
There you go. It looks like that, and when it dries, it looks just exactly like that.
Right.
So there's that iridescence. That's the beautiful thing about it. And we're going to do more with this.
Yes, we are. But this is a good beginning because this is without any coloring agent. And Anne has fallen in love with these metallic sheets. Now these are self-adhesive. We showed these to you earlier in the week. There are 8 different colors that come in the set.
They're about 8 inches by 9 inches.
Right. And so you'll see this shine in many of her projects. And this is the heat-resistant acetate that she has used, even though she didn't use heat on it. But
you know, I'll say that one of the reasons for using the heat-resistant, even if you're not heat embossing on it, is because it's thicker. It's more substantial. It makes I mean, the other acetate works great too, but if you want something a little heavier, it works great.
Good to know. So you can see how she's layered this with this top one on top overlapping her card.
Right.
And it's just going over the top.
Right, and I'm sure Ultra Tape was used on the back to attach that. I love that the, what is that called? The labels.
Oh, the cutting die?
Yes.
It's this
there
one,
we go,
6-layer labels.
The 6-layer labels and 2 swirls. That was used to cut out this very simply and then heat embossed, sending happy thoughts.
And the wide ribbon, and then on the inside, more pieces of the same thing.
And then the center of the stencil used and inked on.
Okay, so just putting ink through it. Okay, now that's as much as we're going to do with the fancy frame. So kind of give you tastes of it. Now we're going to flitter on over to the butterfly focal and share lots of ideas with that. Again, there are ideas on the back, and we're going to start with one of those, which is this one.
So a very simple way of making a nice, beautiful little pastel impact. And this was done by using fluid chalk ink and a stylus just to apply the ink through the stencil.
And looks like you have that over there.
I do. So it's simple to, I have the front of the card here, which is actually what they did there, because afterwards they cut out around the image of the butterfly.
Right.
Just going to place the stencil wherever I want it, right around the center. And then I didn't bring all of the fluid chalk inks. They're listed on the gallery, but here's some of them. Deep Lagoon, or Blue Lagoon, Mint, Harvest, and then there was a beautiful violet looking one that's on there too. And I'm going to start with the blue.
Now, do you want stencil tape?
No, I'm not gonna. I'm just gonna hold on to it.
Then I'll stop getting it ready for you.
I'm terrible that way, I guess. I might not even
do as I say, not as I do.
Very quickly. These are great. I love these stylus handles. They have removable foam at the end here, and this little leaf shape. You can really get into small spaces with that. So I'll start with the blue. I think I'll line it up right around the top, and you just go right through. And I'm going to go right through the center. And I think for the body it was masked off, the rest of it wasn't, so you can certainly do that. I'm just going to sort of fake it in, but you just apply as much ink as needed to get it as thick as you want. I kind of like the ghosted look where you don't totally ink it entirely as well, but then you can move on to another color and just start adding the next color.
And you can wash those sponges off if you want to, and keep reusing them.
And use them over and over. And even if they get a little inky, they're still...
Yeah, they still work beautifully.
So that is the way you apply ink through a stencil.
Okay.
And then a nice result. You can make it heavier, you can make it a little lighter.
And notice how the colors can blend. You're getting some green in there too.
Right, there. That's what you were showing.
Yeah, very good. And here it is in a finished form. So lots of colors in this one. And as you said, this was cut out and then it was matted on the blue snowflakes holographic paper.
Beautiful.
Very fun.
Or maybe even the fireworks on that one.
Or maybe even the fireworks, she says gently, Paulette. It's the fireworks.
They're both about the same color.
Now, on the butterfly stencil, there is a second butterfly, a smaller one, and there's also this distinctive corner, which worked beautifully right there.
It's very useful, that corner. I love the corners. Beautiful.
And there is the little butterfly going in there.
With and those are from the Butterfly Dazzles, that little label
this
there,
piece,
if I'm not mistaken.
So that's beautiful. All going.
That's a fun one. I like that one.
For a very different look, here are a whole bunch of embossing powders.
So several different embossing powders that were, so Versamark and then embossing powders. This was actually done separately on cardstock and then foam tape right on top of there. I think it was done underneath. You can see that it was done underneath on the card as well. I kind of like that layered look. And that's a real simple process. You just take your cardstock and you're going to ink right through it with Versamark. And you can try using just straight through the pad, but I'm going to try to do that. But I think you can get a little bit more control if you use a sponge and then apply it. So you can do that as well. And just keep working that around. Oh, thank you.
That didn't help.
That's all right. I think I'm going to do just about half of it because I want to show you how the embossing powders were added to this. So that's all I'll do for the.
And these are
for some
our
art.
opaque embossing powders.
Right.
So that's giving kind of that more matte look.
And this is Zing. We have powder, we have, rose, powder rose, and lavender. They're really pretty pastel looking bits there. And I'm gonna remove the stencil. So I've got that Versamarked, and then I'm going to use the embossing powder. And the way it was done was on the outer edge, a little stripe of it on the outer edge. And then some of the lilac. I'm just going to put it all on this one
Are
thing.
you?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's not gonna,
I'm starting to look for more.
And
Okay.
you can do it on separate sheets to save your embossing. I'm not going to worry about it right at the moment. And then a little of the pink, so you can get that variegated look.
Right, that's actually kind of just happening on its own, isn't it?
Right, so there
Very
you go.
neat.
They are mixed, and if I get the heat gun, and I'll go
Especially
ahead and
if you get that away from you.
that away, and then just heat that real quick. So it's a really pretty look. You can do that with all different kinds of. We've got so many new embossing powders right
Yes.
now. The glitter ones. This would make a great.
Oh, wouldn't that be gorgeous?
Oh yeah, with the silver and the gold, and we have them all different colors. Maybe you can make a red and green Christmas butterfly.
Okay, now you're going over the edge. But maybe not.
There, so you can see it turning. It doesn't take too long.
Yeah, it doesn't, so there it is.
Okay.
Ah.
So there it is. Anyway, it's
Very,
beautiful when
very
it's all
pretty.
done.
It is, and pretty effortless. I mean, actually, you're just sprinkling the embossing powder, and
Right.
and of course, the selection of colors is going to go a long way, and a little bit of a little kind of pennant over at the bottom, and a bit of jewel dazzles at the top, and on the inside, that smaller butterfly
There's that
done
small
same way.
one, right?
Yeah.
Just a little stamp, and that's a really simple card.
It
and
is.
It's really sweet.
Very
card.
distinctive. Now we're delving back into our gel, our bead gel.
Our glass glitter gel.
And
Right, I have here.
this time
It's with Perfect Pearls
it
mixed
is.
in.
So you can color this product, which is kind of interesting. You can really see the texture right there. And
Mm-hmm.
this has been done on the black cardstock, and the Perfect Pearls were mixed in with it. You're
We're
going to show
mixing
that?
with it. All I'm
Okay.
going to show you is the actual mixing of it. So Anne did all of these interesting new little techniques. She mixed it with the different colors. It says right on with when you read about glass bead glitter gel, they talk about mixing all kinds of different things with
Yeah.
it. So this is great. So just a little bit of that, and then just a little bit of the Perfect Pearls. And I'm going to go ahead and just, she said I think
And
about
that's out of the
an eighth
pastel?
of an inch. This is out of the pastels. This one
Okay.
is blush. And then you just mix it in, and it colors it. It's
Very
kind of
neat.
interesting. It's a little, the dry powder mixed it in there. You give it a second, and it gets wet too. And so then you have a colored, it's like frosting.
It is.
It's just like mixing frosting. And then, oh gosh, you can see sort of the sparkles beneath. You see that iridescent
Yeah.
quality to it down there. But that's how it's done.
And then you just spread it in, just exactly as you see here.
And when it dries clear, and then you get the tint of that pigment.
And yet
which
you
is
can see the
perfect.
black behind it, which is going to be such a high contrast that it's
Right.
going to show beautifully. Now this is on the center step card, and we'll back up a little bit to see that. And you can see this cardstock was done for the centerpiece and this whole front, and then added, this is the white pearl.
The white pearl,
Right.
the 12 by 12 sheets.
Right.
And we saw those earlier this week as
Right.
well.
And these are not the self-adhesive, because the self-adhesive is gold and silver. So this is the white pearl. And then a little bit of stamping up here. And then on the inside, there is the little butterfly. Now, you may not do the inside, but in this case, it was done exactly the same. I like the puffiness
I do too.
of that.
It's just, it sort of sits up a little higher,
Yeah.
and it's just really, it's really sweet.
Quite gorgeous. Now, you ready for more?
Yes, ready.
Now, Anne has done more with the gel.
With the gel, with the glitter gel. And this one is combining dilution sprays with the gel. I'm actually going to show you that too. I have to bring out a craft sheet for that one, because you're going to
turn it over.
Actually, that's a good idea. You're actually going to spray, but I'm going to just show you the mixing, because that's what she did. She mixed it, and then she put it through the stencil onto that beautiful mirror sheet. And she did it with a couple of different colors, and then she let them mix together when she put it on the sheet. So there's the glass bead glitter gel. It's all very crunchy whenever you...
It is. You just have to get used to it.
And then she sprayed it. She said she just put a couple of sprays on there.
I was wondering if you were going to spray.
Yeah. You could also open it up and put a couple of drops on it, but I'll just do what Anne did.
That takes care of it.
I think one is enough. She mentioned two. And I put them a little close together, so I'm sure I could put them in different quadrants of the county here. And there
you might have gotten a different result.
Right.
So
and then
this is going to
mix them together. Wow. So there's
interesting that it will take all these different mediums.
I know. Embossing pastes, all embossing pastes will do this. All the ones that we carry will anyway. So this one's going to get a little purple because I didn't wipe it off, but you can see that. And then when she put them on, I'm quite certain that she put some there, put some there, and then spread them together,
to get
and
the purple.
They get that mix.
Okay, so
and look at that, just on its own. It's beautiful.
It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful.
Like
And here it is now. She has done it on the mirror silver. So it's that mirror collection. Now the little one here was done on a separate piece, and I'm not sure you can even see. She cut around it and then placed it onto the mirror, but it just kind of blends in so well.
You can't see that. That's because it would have been really hard to put the small stencil right there and sit it on top of this raised surface. So she did it separately, but you can barely see the seam. That's wonderful.
But isn't that gorgeous? And adding some of the our velvet ribbon and some of the stamping down below, and then on the inside, this is more of the unforgettable, I believe.
And it's put on the honeysuckle paper actually, which is interesting. This is the circles and scallops cutting dies used just for that label. That's a lot of uses on that one.
How gorgeous! Very, very
just
fun.
Beautiful.
Now Anne gave us some notes and a few more variations. So this was using gelatos.
So this one was done with gelatos, which I can actually show you a little bit how she mixed that. But what she talked about was shaving it off, mixing it together, and then you spritz with water so that it's a little watery, and then mix into a paste. And when she squeegeed it through the stencil, she says it's done, you have to be kind of quicker before the cardstock has a chance to buckle, and that's why she saw some of it will go underneath the stencil.
Especially over here.
That's because, so you can't play around with it, you just swipe.
No playing around with it, people.
You have to get it done. But that was just, like I said, it was just, so if you want to take, I think another way to do it, she talked about scraping off shavings of it. I think you could probably just go like that and put a little water on there.
And then mix it in? You're going to try that?
It, yeah.
Okay.
Put a water on there. I'm just
Nothing like doing it live and...
What the heck? A little bit of water, and we'll see if that works. If not, then you're going to shave off little pieces, which sort of got on there anyway because that's on there. And then when you mix it, it picks it right up.
Yeah, it picks it up. So you can either
do that.
Either way.
Yeah, you could get it brighter by adding more of the shaved pieces of gelatos on there.
Now, just like you just did, Anne gave us this. This was what was left on her mini squeegee.
Right.
And what a gorgeous look. So she was thinking, she would just do this and maybe cut these into strips, or
maybe you could even run that through the die cutter with a die cut shape. Haven't tried it,
but there's always more to do. Now this is quite another look, and keeping with the acetate, and she has done this, and you can see them kind of going off the edge
and
of
that
her
was
card.
Also done with gelatos, just a little of the orange gelatos, and from the orange set.
That's right, you were asking her yesterday, weren't you?
And so that's it's just a beautiful look. It's still that translucent. It didn't make it a solid color. You can still see through it. And I like it on the acetate. It's beautiful.
It just gives that kind of fluttering that's great with butterflies. Yeah. Now this is an entirely different look, and this is going with the metal leaf, and this is the gold metal leaf.
It's the gold metal leaf, but first it was the white embossing paste.
Now the black that you're seeing is the paper,
right?
So not to be confused.
Here, if we lift it up, if you can see the thickness there, that's because the embossing paste was used, so you have that top layer, and then with the stencil still in place, or you put it back in place after the embossing paste has dried, put the stencil back on there, then you're going to use what's called the Stamp and Stick glue pad. So here it's this glue pad with this little ink bottle, and if you get the ink all over there and then you apply it to the top of the embossing on there, you get that all glued up, then you apply the gold leaf. The gold leaf,
right. And the gold leaf comes like this, and there are sheets in here.
You're going to open it.
I am opening it.
It's fun. It's really fun stuff.
It's very, very fine, very thin. I think there's 25 sheets in here.
And it's very flittery.
It's very flittery.
And it breaks apart very easily, and it's okay. You can use tiny little, because they also sell this in little pots of, filled with little bits of it.
But just like this, now there's a fan going, so you want to turn off every fan, and don't do this if you're sneezing.
Yeah, don't blow the other way.
But what's nice is that you can just lay it on and use any of the little pieces like this that just came off, just put that somewhere else.
But anyway, once that glue is on there, you just lay that on there, and even little bits, cover up all of the white, and then you burnish it in with your finger, and then use this. This also is something that is required. It's a scoochy sponge to remove all the excess between all those, and it's just a beautiful look. And you can use that gold leaf for all kinds of, you can use it for stamping. And
now this card was done open like this, or this black part was done, and you can see it was
cut.
It was cut. Yeah, and then the inside was lined with the other paper, and there's the little butterfly done exactly the same way.
Just another great way to use that beautiful butterfly stencil.
Yes, it is, and we're not done yet.
Okay.
We have more. This is quite an achievement, and it does take a little bit of doing, because what Susan did using the darkroom papers and the stencil is she first masked off just so that the center butterfly was shown. Now, I did this with kind of a painter's tape, because the stencil tape is the same color as the stencil, and I didn't think you could see it. So I masked this off, and then apply the copper embossing paste, and lift it up, because that's what you always do, and then spread on, this is the Wow Totally Teal Glittery Embossing Powder.
And you do that while the embossing paste is still wet.
Absolutely. So sprinkle that on, then tap it off, return the excess, let that dry. Let that dry completely. Then come back with the stencil, with the complete stencil, and you may want to mask off the center area. And then do the copper, pull the stencil off, and let it dry.
So this is really a little masterpiece.
It is. Now,
it's not that hard to accomplish. You just have to be willing to go through those stages.
Yes, right. But it gives such a wonderful look. Now, you can heat emboss this after you put the embossing powder on. It is a glittery embossing powder, as you can see, and that will just kind of really seal it on top. But this was done on the brown paper, then cut out and put onto the patterned darkroom paper.
The same with here at the corner.
Yes.
So you've got that corner treatment where it was done in both of those stages.
So it just gives you another opportunity to start mixing your mediums, which is kind of neat. Now, just a sneak peek. This is what we did at Girlfriend's Getaway.
Isn't that beautiful?
And we did an album cover.
So we did that right there.
Yes, we did that. Everybody did. All 163 of us. And just a beautiful piece. So scrapbook pages, it can also be on those, and it will be gorgeous. So now, we've done our frames, done our butterflies. Now we're going into Trim-a-Tree.
Trim-a-Tree. It's got these 6 beautiful and very detailed ornaments. And I love this, I especially love this one, and so it doesn't
Like that
completely
swirl?
finish around, but once you've stenciled it, it does. It looks like it's a completely finished ornament.
And our very first one is this. Now, this, believe it or not, is Stencils. This is not embossing paste, although there is silver embossing paste.
Right, so just Stencils through the stencil
Right.
right onto the suede paper, and that's
Right.
the navy suede paper.
It is the navy suede, and
So it's
is it
beautiful.
navy suede?
I'm pretty sure.
Iris.
Iris.
Iris suede.
Excuse me.
Okay. Always look in the gallery because you know sometimes we
Okay,
get befuddled.
We do have navy. It's darker.
Yeah.
All right.
But what I love is the different shapes, but the shine, you just can't beat that.
No, you can't. And it's easy to do, just going right through the stencil
Right.
while it's in place. You complete it and then you remove the stencil. And I love how they're hanging with jewel dazzles, jeweled border dazzles, and some extra little blue jewel dazzles.
Right.
Just beautiful.
Just really, really pretty. And on the inside, we just have some more dazzles onto the papers.
And that's the winter flannel Christmas paper pack.
Right.
So that's
Which-
just beautiful. Or
So
winter anyway.
So again, you could do something different, and this is with Stencils. Now, there we have the silver and blue. Here is the black and gold,
Black
which I
and
think
gold.
this is just stunning.
It is. That's the word I was waiting for you to say. And this is done all with the pearl papers. We
Right.
also talked about that this week. There are gold and silver. There are
Right.
6 in a pack.
And they're self-adhesive, you're exactly right.
Self-adhesive.
And black embossing paste. Now, if you would have said, hey, I'm going to use black embossing paste for my Christmas ornaments, you'd go, really?
I thought that's the message. Huh? But it
look at
is. It's
that.
beautiful.
It's stunning.
It is.
Absolutely stunning.
This would be great for like a gold anniversary combination too.
It would.
Just beautiful.
And this is with the Christmas, Naughty and Nice stamp.
Naughty Nice stamp.
Families are like
And
Christmas
that's
fudge.
done sweet, but with lots of nuts. And it's done on the gold metallic paper for this
Right.
label. I love that it's going off and coming back on.
In fact, that's happening all over. Things are going
Right.
off. And just the ribbon to hang them, beautiful
Just a
look.
great
And on the
combination.
inside, look what she did. She just inked
Right.
through the stencil. And the stencil also has this flourish or this hanger, however you choose to use it, along with
and
the holly.
as well, right?
But doesn't that work well just to link them together?
Right.
Very fun.
Just beautiful.
Very
That's just a great,
That's
great
a
look.
stunner.
That's a good one.
Now, that Anne, look at what she's done.
Oh, wait a minute. We don't have a poinsettia stencil.
We don't. What
How
was
did she do
thinking?
that?
Well, you can see what she used was this piece, and very, very fun. So again, with the metallic papers.
Right. This is the copper embossing paste
Yes.
that she
Oh.
used. Isn't it?
I think it's gold.
Is it gold?
I think it's gold.
I'm just
Yes.
getting them wrong right
That's
now.
okay.
Okay, the gold embossing paste that she put right onto the red makes it look like
Yes,
copper to
it
me.
does, it does.
She put it onto the red mirror papers, and and then she cut them out, leaving a mat around the outside.
And it made a poinsettia.
and made that.
Again, off the edge of her card. And then this is more of the naughty or nice, don't get your tinsel in a tangle. And just really fun. And on the inside, she's left lots of room for writing and added a couple more.
And added the ornaments to go along with the poinsettia.
I never would have thought of that. And speaking of something I wouldn't have thought of, this is your piece, right?
That's my piece. And
Yes.
that's done with, okay, well, first of all, it's done on acetate. So you've got this beautiful cover with the ornaments peeking out from behind each other, a little masking will do that for you. And that's done with this little product. It's the perfect airbrush. So if you get it, it sort of looks like this. And it's got this great little handle that puts air right through there. And it's got this little option here to where you can put markers in there, or if you need bigger markers to fit in there, you slide that piece out and you can put in a bigger marker like a Spectrum Noir pen. I'm going to pull the chisel point open up here.
Yeah, and you want that chisel point because it's a larger surface.
Right,
Okay.
and I'm going to push that through there right up to that little tip, and you want to go past the tip a
Just
little
a bit
bit.
tap. Okay.
There you go.
And
so
that's
that you can
critical.
get it.
That positioning is
It
really
is.
critical.
And what you want to do is test it, and if you didn't get it right, then you adjust it. So I'm going to actually see if I got it. Yeah,
you
works
did.
great. So I have a piece of acetate here. I'll set down the acetate. I know you can't see it maybe, but there it is. I'll put the stencil in place, and I just use the airbrush right over the stencil. I would mask off with Post-its around the edges, etc.
Yeah.
And you just kind of keep working until you get it just the desired effect that you want. I think I tried to get it sort of darker on the edges and lighter on the opposite side.
Yeah, I think that's the thing with this look is that you're not getting a solid
Right.
finish because
Right.
you could do that with an ink pad or something
Right.
else.
It dries really quickly because
Yeah.
Spectrum Noir pens are alcohol-based, and there you go.
And
that look.
here it is. Now, let me hold it like this. So we've got the acetate,
see it?
and you've positioned all of those beautifully.
Right.
And you've added some of the Christmas cheer scrapbooking dazzles.
In order to get the ornaments behind the front ornament, I cut a piece of paper. I used the stencil to trace and cut out a piece of scrap
Okay.
paper, set it over it, and then do the other ones.
So you created a mask.
Right.
And then on the back here, you have a piece, and this is the Color Me paper, which I know you can't see as I carefully brought it in here. This is the Color Me swirls, and this was one of the very first Color Me because it's the white.
Right.
And you did some airbrushing on that too?
I didn't do airbrushing. I inked that with distress inks.
Oh,
So
okay.
just one of the pink, I think picked raspberry, or
okay.
pickberry something.
And then going on to, I just think this is such a fun surprise, and love it. Some border dazzles at the top.
I was really excited after I did it. It was just because it was just so bright, and plus
Yeah.
it's Christmas, but it's pink and blue and
Yeah.
purple, and that was fun too.
Very fun. So that's going to be the end of our trimetry. Now we are going into the snowfall. Now the snowfall, of course, is snowflakes everywhere.
Large
And-
ones, small ones, so you can sort of stencil them out individually, but I
Yes.
love the overall look. It's a simple way to get snowflakes everywhere.
And here is our first card, and you can see this has kind of the darker and the lighter going on.
And that's all done with embossing powders. So you have like a powder blue, you have a glitter. So this is the Wow or the Zing. I'm not quite sure which one was used,
Right.
but look at the gallery for that. And just all over your page. So just Versamark all over and embossing powders.
Right, and then on the inside, just a corner treatment. So
Right.
again, you can, well, actually none of these are horribly involved.
No, not really. This is pretty simple. I love the little bling, the silver bling right in the center as well.
Very pretty. Now, are you ready to go back to that gel?
Okay.
Well, here we are. Look at this puppy.
So I love that iridescent quality, and that's done on the suede. That is the navy suede.
That is the navy suede. You're exactly right. And look at the shine and just the luminescence you're getting.
Right, the glitter and the glass beads in there,
Yeah.
they pick up the colors that are around it, and that's what you're seeing reflected there.
And this is on the holographic silver snowflakes.
Right, it
And
is.
this is a dazzle right there.
Few snowflake dazzles on there.
Right. And this is a 5x5 card, and just a beautiful look.
It is
Absolutely
beautiful.
gorgeous.
That's simple. You just do that on the suede, cut it, and there you go.
And there you go. Now, Anne has done hers. This is actually on the acetate. And so she's done it first on the acetate, and then she has glued it onto a card front that was covered with the, again,
Blue mirror.
yes, that mirror,
Right.
that mirror set.
Now, I realized that you could put this directly on the mirror
Mm-hmm.
paper, but this actually gave it kind of a different quality, because if you look, the mirror paper is a lot darker, so this just kind of muted it.
a little bit.
And the acetate is a smoother surface. It's just an extra
Yeah.
neat little effect.
And she's done in the center with left it the card front and then added another little piece of the acetate down
so
below.
this is the no, that's the acetate all the way down, because this is the heat resistant acetate that she embossed
she did.
on.
Oh,
Yeah. So the
okay.
whole piece is on that acetate.
Okay.
And that heat
Gotcha.
resist, you can other acetates, if you try to emboss on them, they're going to melt, but the heat resistant acetate works very well.
Right, it's not going to warp like others. And then on the inside, a nice little strip, and that's
Yeah.
a nice thing to think about. That would be great also scrapbooking, to do a border of snowflakes would
Sure.
work so nicely.
Lots of these techniques can be used on, all of them really, on the scrapbook pages in any way. Just sort of imagine it bigger.
Yes, right. Now there is a sheet that we get from our friends at Hunky Dory that is also called Snowfall, and it's got all the snowflakes on acetate, and I think there are 5 sheets. Well, Anne decided to take this and to do the gel onto the acetate
Right.
with. And I kind of like it this way because I think you
I
see
do
more
too.
of the
You can
dots.
see more of the iridescence as well. But first she took the glass bead glitter gel and mixed it with a little bit of silver embossing paste.
I forgot about that.
That way it wouldn't be, if she had done it without, it might have been just a little bit too clear. So if I look at this side, you can sort of see it a little silvery, and so that's another neat way of using
Yeah,
it.
it's very clever. Now, if you scrapbooking, we have talked about scrapbooking, and look at that flutter of snowflakes all around. And guess who this little one is? Yes, that's Anne's little guy.
That's Gabriel. He's such a cutie.
He is. Love is the light of Christmas, but this is on the Christmas cheer.
Christmas cheer paperback,
right.
paperback. So there's that border and some of the. I like the strip here. Also, this is. I can see the silver pearl sheets here
Oh.
used to mat
That's
some of the
right.
border strips. But this is beautiful. Okay, you know, I didn't find out what that was. What did she do?
I think it's the same. I think it's with the silver,
The silver.
embossing paste in with it. Yeah.
That's got micro glitter on it, isn't it? Okay.
I think this is the beads, yeah. We'll have to look at the gallery.
Darn it.
But we know Gabriel's name, and he kind of looks like he's a present, doesn't he? This is kind of packaged.
Oh, so cute.
But I love the placement of how she did those snowflakes.
That is beautiful.
Very, very charming. Now, she gave us a couple of other pieces just to show. This, again, is the micro...
The mirror sheet with the white embossing powder.
Right.
That's all that is.
And I love that kind of tone on tone, very, very soft looking.
Beautiful.
Now this, she did something pretty different with this. Let me
This
see if
is
you can see it.
interesting. She actually took the stencil and ran it through her embossing machine or die cutting machine, however you look at it, with a couple of extra pieces of cardstock to push it through to really emboss it. Or if you have an embossing sheet, which we sell those in Paper Wishes as well, to push it through. And I think that she sprayed it a little bit with water first to make sure that it would emboss well.
So, and this is, it's raised. It's not, you know, it's not deeply embossed,
Right.
but it is raised.
So she embossed it with a stencil. So
Yeah.
you can, now your stencils can be embossing agents
Pretty-
with a machine as
pretty
well.
amazing. Now we have one last of the snowfall. Quite a different look into our canning jar stamp.
That is the cutest thing. So it's embossed with white embossing powder, and they're just sort of falling into the jar because it was embossed onto vellum.
And just beautifully done.
That's so cute.
So as you can see, the fancy frame, the butterfly focal, the trimetry,
And the snowfall.
all of those can give you so many looks. And as we did a lot of different techniques, of course you can do them on different stencils, not only these,
Sure.
but others.
We're giving you lots of ways to use them.
Right.
So I hope that you're going to come back tomorrow. We have
Yes.
something special tomorrow.
We have a very scary surprise tomorrow. We invite you to join us.
See you then.